What's good? What's good? What's good? Another day of boxing. Hope all is well with you. I am going to today try my absolute best not to yell. It will not work, I promise you, but I will try. What's going on? Mr. Anthony Holden said Gary Russell Jr. versus Crawford. Errol versus Sean too. Adrian Cole, what's going on, man? Stiff jabs. Oh yeah. We'll get to that for sure. Mr. Shelton in the building. Bert from marketing. My man, Mr. Shelton. Mr. Shelton got a video up connected. I can't jump to that in the middle of this. Sign of the Times. What's good, man? Macadon won. Fast Lane Jones, crazy bro. What's going on? Big ups to you as well, man. Hope everything's going well with you. Good morning, everyone. Hit that like a hat, like a hammer. That would be awesome. Latched Puma in the building. What's going on? Renee Box Young. I cannot pronounce that name, but Asarala. What's going on? What's going on, big homie Coop? D-Rock E, what's going on? Class, we're going to have a good conversation today, man. Now that we have had, at least for me, and I guess I have to, start this show. What's going on, Easy Lewin in the building? I have entered into a new understanding in the boxing world, okay? So some things that you just cannot unsee, okay? And I have to be true to my opinion. And the best that I can do is look at things in the best light that I can, try to be as thorough as I can, and give you my honest opinion. Give you as much facts as I can at the time without taking all day and all of that good old stuff. But, it makes a big difference when you talk about the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight or any other fight that might be being made. For you to know who you're negotiating with, who's actually involved in the negotiations. So once I found, or at least I think I got a better idea of who is involved in the negotiations for big fights at the PBC and to what extent, then, now I got to adjust what I think the chances are of any particular fight being made. So I have to bring that into that consideration. So from what I can see, the Errol Spence Jr. fight versus Terence Crawford fight is not going to happen anytime soon. I wouldn't expect it. It's just, it has so many hurdles to overcome that I just can't see it happening, dog. BFTB, what's good? Errol Spence said he's his own boss. He is his own boss. He is his own boss. He is his own boss. I'm my own boss too. There's nothing incorrect about that. Deontay Wilder's his own boss. Just because you're a boss doesn't mean you can make anything that you want to happen. Because you have to deal with people that don't work for you. I mean, we throw around a lot of words about what boss means and, hey, man, there's a lot. Dude, if you're a boss, you got to be bossing somebody. Boss is in relationship to somebody. Unless that somebody includes everybody, you're not a boss of that person. So, yes, it is very, very true. And some of these things can be said with absolutely no lies in it. But that does not mean that because you're a boss that you have, limitless power and the ability to make people do exactly what you want to do when they. No, it's not how the world. That's not how the world works. It's just not how the world works. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Errol Spence Jr. does want to fight. I think Terence Crawford wants to fight. I do. There's no, or let me put it this way: there's no reason for me to believe that they don't want to make that money. But with some news that came out yesterday, I'm like, I can't see how this thing can be made. There's so many hurdles to it. There's so many hurdles to it. And so the thing that I heard was that Keith Thurman said he thinks he's going to be able to fight Spence in 2021. What's going on, William Lewis? What's going on, man? We got people rolling in the building. So I heard Keith Thurman say, or somebody said that Keith Thurman said that he thinks he'll get Errol Spence in 2021. But look, pay attention to something. How many fights has Errol Spence? Who is Errol Spence Jr. going to have to fight in order to, if you count 2 fights back, do an experiment. All of the people say that they're in line to fight Errol Spence Jr. That say that they are in line to fight Errol Spence Jr. at the PBC. I want you to go. I'm going to go through exactly who those fighters are. And this is it. This is what Errol Spence Jr. has to go through to get to get Terence Crawford. He already had to fight He already had to fight Kell Brook, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter. He will fight Danny Garcia. Then, if he beats Danny Garcia, which I think he will, then he will have to fight Sean Porter again, because that's who they said was next. They would have to fight Sean Porter again, and that's a rematch of a pay-per-view. And then you would have to beat Keith Thurman, all to get to Terence Crawford. That, my friend, is murderer's row. You cannot possibly have a harder match schedule than that. And I was inspired by BFTB, who said that Errol Spence Jr. should be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Now, I'll let you go to his argument. By the way, I don't know why y'all go try to get on BFTB's channel talking crazy. I have no clue. Boy, y'all be looking real, real bad. Like, if you've not caught it yet, we tell you to go to KQ. We tell you to go there so you don't come back. And my friend, you have to take a little bit of a vacation there, dog, because he bodied you like 2 minutes in that conversation. You just didn't know it. You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. 168 pounds, you know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. Canelo ain't got no 168-pound title. Body bag. I wrote body bag right then. Body bag. Because I want to let you know exactly when you lost. I usually don't even dip in. But I thought it was a special occasion. And I was telling you right there, body. And you ignored it at first. You ignored that I told you that you got bodied. You ignored it. You ignored that you got bodied because you didn't know that you got bodied. That's what it is. But I told you got bodied. I was like, you're bodied. You're done. It's over. Call the body bags out. Grab the body bags. Grab the body bags. Grab them. Everybody grab them. It's over. And slowly but surely, you began to realize, because I put more and more body bags every time. I'm telling you, dog, you lost. That was a dismantling, dog. And the way he did it, just by making you dismantle yourself, I must say that was an excellent body bag. Yeah. Did you know you're bodied? You didn't even know he was bodied. Several other people knew he was bodied. It's kind of like playing chess and you're like, this is over. You know, like, you ever seen somebody just look at a chessboard and just walk away and just tell you, like, out of the blue, would you like to concede? Like, that's what BFTB might as well have said. At that point, he can stop and say, offer you a draw? I would like to offer you a stalemate. BFTB, I offer you a stalemate. And you just didn't even know. No, I'm not taking that stalemate. And you proceed to get ran through. BFTB said, I love that ish goat. I was just playing with my food, dog. You play with them dudes like a long time, dog. Like a long time, dog. Until you just shut the mic off on them. Then it's like, He bodied him at least 4 times, separate times, before he just hit the mute. Like, it's over. Okay, we cannot keep doing this for 5 hours. I know you know how to talk. You know what I'm saying? I know you know how to continue to put words out your mouth. That don't mean that the argument is not already over. Over. Whoop. Anyway, dog, I thought that was funny. Stormy B, man, what's good, man? Man, subscribe to Stormy B, man, dog. Definitely when we get the next insertions of OG Bison Talk, man, I would love if Stormy B, man, could stop by. Salute Fannon. That's what happens with the guillotine that head separates from the body. You literally see your own death. Oh, yeah, dog. Shit just flew off, man. That was a body. I try to tell you. That's why don't nobody want to interview on this channel. Don't nobody call BFTB for no interviews. Oh, no. Oh, no, sir. Sir, don't do that to them kids, man. So y'all think, dog, I got to explain something else to you guys so you can stop leaving stupid messages, okay? And I'll get back to this, but then I got to get on this Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, because we got people coming in now. We got people. Let me see if the great Trill Boxing Talk or Trill Morning Talk is still on before I go in full-fledged. They are still on, so I shall remain on hold for a second or two before I really go. If I was Errol, I wouldn't fight Bud unless he fight a top 5 welterweight. Errol is running the gauntlet, and Bud ain't running at all. It don't make sense. Oh, no. No. Yeah, that's bad from that point of view, too. That is definitely bad. What's going on, Batman? No. I can't do a Batman. I can't do it. Batman in the building said, I'm not going to go into the graveyard, dog. Ain't nobody going to that graveyard, man. Ain't nobody going to the great Batman, too. Call it the great Batman, dog. Call it the great Batman. That man is excellent. So anyway, back to this Terence Crawford thing in Errol Spence. Nah, dude, that's a gauntlet, and that can take a lot out of you, and it's going to take a lot of time. Okay, that is probably I cannot think of. Can anybody tell me anybody that's fought harder competition if he gets all the way through those fights? I can't think of anybody. It's like he's fighting like a journey. It's like he's fighting like a journeyman or something. You know what I'm saying? Like he's fighting all of this tough competition. Man, salute. So, no, nobody has a harder thing than him, which is why I'm like, that's a lot, dog. That's a lot of work. And then guess what happens let me ask you a question. What happens? What would Errol Spence get? Here's a quiz. Tell me if Errol Spence Jr. completes gets undisputed at 147 pounds after fighting Terence Crawford, what will Errol Spence Jr. have accomplished? That's a quiz just to check if any of y'all are boxing fans. What major thing would he have accomplished? Undisputed. That's the answer. No, he's just undisputed. No, there's been undisputeds at 147 before. There have been. When there was only one belt, yes, there was. There were undisputed welterweight champs before. Just not with 4. So, Errol Spence Jr. would become undisputed. What would Terence Crawford be if Terence Crawford became undisputed? Somebody let me know what Terence Crawford would be if he became undisputed. Batman. No. G is the first one there. 2-time undisputed champion of the world that nobody can say they have done. Motherfucking period. If Terence Crawford were to beat Errol Spence Jr. for all of those belts, he would have been undisputed in 2 weight classes, which would make him what? Like Bert from Artican said, a megastar. Somebody that could walk around saying that they were the greatest of all times because they would be number one pound for pound. Don't you find it interesting that nobody in the PBC, it's so hard to get on the pound for pound? That's the top rank angle in the Golden Boy era. However, I do not see. Let me ask you a question. Which of those two things has Floyd Mayweather Jr. never done? Which of those two things, being undisputed and two-time undisputed, has Floyd Mayweather Jr. ever done? Correct. Neither or both. Any way you want to answer the question, it is something that Floyd Mayweather Jr. never accomplished. It is something else. Who else has accomplished? See, Bud would then be a superstar. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen with the narcissist as matchmaker. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Floyd Mayweather is not about to name his successor. It is not going to happen out of PBC. In my humble opinion. It will not happen out of the PBC. No way. My dad used to tell me when I was working on deals, when I was like younger, he would be looking at me. I'm like, man, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. It'd be months before. And he'd be like, man, that ain't going to go through. He'd be like, man, no, that's not going to go through. Man, no. And eventually, boom, something went bad. Didn't work. You know what I mean? Because he knew early on, because he had a lot of experience with it. Not going to happen, dog. You can see certain things with certain people, dude. They're not going to do business with you. There's just, it would affect Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s brand as the greatest of all time if that happened. It's not, that shit is definitely not going to go, dog, around that dude. Not going to happen, dog. So, no, not trying to hear that. And that's just simple and straight to the point. Said, I wouldn't make him a star. I wouldn't make him star. He'll be the most accomplished fighter ever, not a superstar. You know what, John? You know what, Batman? That's exactly that was said about Floyd Mayweather Jr. when Floyd Mayweather Jr. was with Top Rank, and they were saying that he could not sell couldn't draw flies to a dumpster. But hey, man, I'm just telling you, that's my opinion, man. Yeah, Floyd said Buzz number one, pound for pound. He didn't say Errol was. He didn't say anybody. He didn't say Gervonta Davis was. Anyway, man, I ain't trying to hear it, dude. So just understand, dude, that no, I'm not hearing that, dude. There are so many things about that fight being set up that is difficult to get over. And that, I'm telling you, and dude, how many shots? That's just, dude, that is a lot of fights. That's a hard schedule, man. That's a very hard schedule, man, of a bunch of different styles for nothing to go wrong. I mean, if Errol gets through that dude for real, man, he's beyond the number one pound for pound dude, man. Like, the idea that he's going to, I mean, dude, if what they're saying is true, that is just wicked. That is a wicked, wicked schedule. Bud has too big a reach for Mayweather to fight. Nah, man, Floyd Mayweather Jr., the fighter, would have beat Bud. Errol, I mean, dude is a great fighter. I mean, he's fundamentally more sound than Bud is. I would take Floyd Mayweather over Terence Crawford. Errol asking for that schedule. Yeah, he is. That's a heck of a schedule. That's a heck of a schedule. I don't, but hold on. No. I can't even believe I got into that and said that bullshit. No, he did not. Hold on. I almost fell for the motherfucking okey doke. You slipped an okey doke in this bitch. No, he did not ask for that schedule. What? Where did that go? Where did it go? Man, Errol Spence didn't ask for that schedule. First of all, let's go through the facts that Errol never asked for that schedule. Let's start with the first Mikey Garcia fight. Errol asked for a fight with Sean Porter. Let's talk about all the fights that you say, go with what you're saying, that he asked for that schedule. The first person in the schedule that I laid, because I talked about who he's already fought, was Kell Brook. Did he ask for Kell Brook? No. He was forced to go fight Kell Brook because the PBC guys wouldn't fight him. Hallelujah. Thank you for asking that question. No, Errol Spence Jr. did not ask for that fight. Errol Spence Jr. wanted Keith Thurman, who was the other champion, and he didn't get the shot. So he had to go to, besides the mandatories that he fought, right? Or the other fights that he fought to get up in the rankings, he had to go to the UK and fight on an Eddie Hearn card against Kell Brook in Kell Brook's hometown to get a shot at the title because he couldn't get one with the PBC champions. In the famous words of BFTB, oops. Oops. He did not ask for Kell Brook. Now let's move on to the fight after Kell Brook. Lamont Peterson. Did he ask for Lamont Peterson? No, he did not ask for Lamont Peterson. No, he did not ask for Lamont Peterson. Nobody else would fight him. You remember that? I remember that. I remember that. So, no, he did not choose to fight Lamont Peterson. He said, the only reason I'm fighting Lamont Peterson is because nobody else will fight me. Nobody else in the PBC will fight me. Next, after Lamont Peterson, was who? Mandatory, Carlos Ocampo. He didn't ask for Carlos Ocampo. It was a mandatory. He knocked out Carlos Ocampo in a round and went on about his business to try to ask for a fight that he wanted. Can anybody tell me what the next fight that Errol Spence Jr. asked for that he did not get? Again, he did not get Sean Porter. Oops. Because he didn't want Mikey Garcia. He wanted Sean Porter. But out of the blue, pops up another PBC fighter who just got done beating a weight-drained, Mikey Garcia. Did Errol ask to fight Mikey Garcia? No. Oops. Never asked for him. In fact, it was offered to him as a pay-per-view, and he still said he didn't want it. He wanted to unify because his plans was to become undisputed. But no, he had to take another hard fight against a guy, an experienced guy like Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, he beats Mikey Garcia. Then he gets an opportunity to unify against Sean Porter. But did he get it right away? No. Oops. No, he did not. It was a protracted and long negotiation in which The fight shouldn't even have been on pay-per-view, but Sean Porter was like, it has to be on pay-per-view to take my fight. Because Sean Porter, if it wasn't going, my understanding is, if it wasn't on pay-per-view, Sean Porter wasn't going to take the fight. But let's also back up and remember what Sean Porter said when he's told Errol Spence Jr. that he wasn't going to fight him next. Do you remember this? After Errol Spence Jr. jumped in the ring with Mikey, listen to what happened here. Errol Spence Jr. jumps into the ring with Sean Porter and calls him out. Sean Porter says, yes, I'll fight you. You know, the Sean Porter that gave him a tooth and nail fight? That Sean Porter. Told him, yes. Then Sean Porter gets to the podium, and what? Sean Porter said, after people just suddenly distract Errol Spence Jr. from calling out Sean Porter just out of the fucking blue, everybody wants to talk about Terence Crawford, even though he is there on the podium to talk about Sean Porter. Somehow the whole fucking press conference turned to Terence Crawford and not Sean Porter. Now, when Sean Porter, after all day taking him to get to the thing, like, why is Errol Spence Jr. up here talking? Why is Tank talking? Why are these guys up here before Sean Porter? Why can't Sean Porter just come on, man? Like, I never see this. But Sean Porter is back off somewhere, and when he comes out, he comes up to the podium and says, completely changes his tune and says, hey, I just want you to know, if this fight between me and Errol Spence doesn't happen next, it's not me. So somebody told, and go look at it, somebody between the time the fight ended and between the time Sean Porter got there told Sean Porter that fight wasn't going to happen. And then that fight didn't happen. Mikey Garcia happened. That's a fucking plan. Then Sean Porter happened. So what is this shit about Errol Spence Jr. asking for this schedule? Right now, the only person that I know that Errol Spence actually got a fight with that he asked for, he had to wait and take a fight with Mikey Garcia before that. And then he got the fight with Sean Porter. To date, that's the only fight that he's gotten that he actually asked for. Because he did not ask for Danny Garcia. Didn't ask for it. It's a mandatory. What fight is this? And now Sean Porter is the number one in the WBC. And what did Errol Spence Jr. say on Twitter? He was like, I just beat this dude. How's he my number one? I just beat Sean Porter. How is that my number one? How is it? He just beat him. Now, I have no disrespect for Sean Porter. I want to see the rematch. Sean Porter shouldn't have that mandatory option that he talked about, like he has with Terence Crawford. Look at that. There's a possibility that either the WBO or the WBC can issue a mandatory order to make either Terence Crawford fight Sean Porter or Errol Spence Jr. fight Sean Porter. And Sean Porter is most likely going to get the fight with Errol Spence Jr. if he gets past Danny Garcia, a fight that he did not ask for. Oops. He asked for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is who he asked for. Did he get it? Nope. In fact, when he beat Sean Porter, that's who he asked to fight. I want Manny Pacquiao next. Who is what? With the PBC. Is he getting the fight? Nope. He's taking a mandatory pay-per-view against Danny Garcia. Look like me, Errol Spence Jr. is over there paying the fucking bills, to me, is what that looks like. Seemed like Errol Spence Jr. is out using his popularity to get everybody else a payday, except Terence Crawford, the only other guy besides Manny Pacquiao that he says he actually wants to fight. The people that he is fighting next are all the guys that ducked him originally. The champions and the people that were there when he couldn't get a shot are now miraculously the same people he has to defend the belts against. The fuck out of here. All the way the fuck out of here. And I don't even care if Errol Spence Jr. says he's down with it, cool. But he's not asked for any of those fights. Oops. Like I said, I can't even believe for 2 seconds that I've almost fell for that bullshit okie doke. Nigga, that shit is okie doke. Don't try it. Errol Spence Jr. has only asked for one fight. Sean Porter. And got it. And he had to wait to get it. Had to wait. Are they valuable opponents? Yes. Sean Porter shouldn't have to go the mandatory route, though. He should be able to get that shot straight off the cuff. And quite honestly, he should have got the fight next if the car accident didn't take place. But also, Errol's coming off of a car accident fighting Danny Garcia. Yes, that's a strong, brave dude. Is Cam strong and brave, but dog. If they were like, nah, man, I'm not even doing that. They have the power to be like, nah, man, we ain't even doing that, dog. We ain't even doing that. Yeah, I know you want to do it, dog, but, you know, discretion is the better part of value, dog. You know, discretion is discretion is the better part of valor type shit. That's in honor of my man, 78 Sports TV, who's in that super chat, dog. Much love in that super chat. You said, let me say Manny Pac-Man, Pacquiao. Manny Pac-Man, Pacquiao. Pac-Man, Pacquiao. Man, that dude is, come on, man. What's going on, man? P-Boxing, salute to you, sir. Boxy said he also asked for Pac, but we see what happened there. Yeah, he ain't getting nothing he asked for. Fuck out of here. The hell no. He ain't getting what he's asked for. He's getting nothing that he's asking for. But the hardest, because what he asked for was much more straightforward. What he truly asked for was very straightforward. I would like to fight Keith Thurman. He could have beat Keith Thurman and said, now I will fight Kell Brook in the United States because I'm the big draw. So he beats Kell Brook in Dallas. Because now he's the superstar that beat Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman is gone. Right? So then he beats Kell Brook. And then the WBA is right there and he fights Keith Thurman. Or no, Keith Thurman's already gone, so he got the WBA. Or he could fight Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. He could have went to Sean Porter after that if Danny Garcia and them got the WBC like that. You know, some of the the time frame, chronology of it might be a little bit off, but you get my point. There's a much more straight path to unification than Murderer's fucking Row. Because I'm telling you, he gets through this. This is legendary fucking type of competition. All right. This is back to back Hall of Famers. Back to back Hall of Famers. That's a tough fucking schedule for a guy you want to make a star. That is not the fucking cushy fucking treatment that other people get. That is not Tyson Fury's treatment. That is not the nigga. Tyson Fury ain't got to fight but one motherfucker. 2 people to get undisputed. Errol Spence Jr. got to beat half the fucking Hall of Fame class of 2030 to get in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be like the year of 2020 inaugural 2030 Hall of Fame class will include Mikey Garcia, Lamont Peterson, Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Terence Crawford, and they all fought Errol Spence. And they fought him without getting to undisputed. Get the fuck out of here. Undisputed is not a goal. It's just not their goal for him. And I'm telling you that shit that they're running has a decent chance of getting them beat. Decent chance of getting them beat. There's motherfuckers in the Hall of Fame that could not get through that. I don't know if you think Mayweather could get through that at welterweight? Straight, I'm asking a straight question. You think Errol, do people think that back to back that if Floyd Mayweather Jr. was 28 years old, had 26 fights, that he could get through that type of shit at 147? Fuck no. Somebody in there's beating him, dog. Somebody's in there beating him. Or because every time you fight, there's the wear and tear. Every time you fight, there's the wear and tear. No, man. There shall be no king at PBC but me. That's not going to happen, dog. That shit is just a fucking ridiculous schedule. Even if the kid wants to do it. That's a fucking ridiculous schedule. That's a fucking ridiculous. That's a fucking ridiculous schedule. Money for days. But dude, not easy money. That's working harder, not working smarter. I'll put it that way. That's working harder, not working smarter. Get my drift? Nah, I don't believe it, dude. He could have got a lot smarter than that. He could go straight to fucking Terence Crawford right now. He could go straight to Terence Crawford right now and beat a fucking King 147 and get the fuck out and fight Canelo. And be done with all of them. Easy. 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 Exactly. All gas, no brakes, dog. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. These niggas trying to run you dead. They fucking Earl Campbell. That's some Earl Campbell shit. Fuck, throw that nigga into the line again and again. He's tough. Keep throwing him into the line. Keep throwing him into the line. Keep denting him. Keep denting him. We'll get him. He ain't gonna be no motherfucking undisputed. Fuck undisputed. You only need 2 belts, 3 belts to be undisputed anyway. Ain't that how they ain't that they tried to claim out of fight height? Ain't that what they somebody who was that claimed Floyd Mayweather? You only took 3 of them, only took 2 of them to be undisputed or something like that. Some just completely concocted horse shit. So nah, man, I ain't feeling it, dog. What's up? Get them likes up to my 600 pound life status. Thanks, man. Thanks for supporting the channel, dog. Appreciate you. You don't get hey, man. Lamont Smith said, keep speaking the truth. Hey, man, we're gonna talk about it, dude. We're gonna talk about it. So, but I'm seriously. Oh, I need to tell you something too. I'm glad 78's in the building, so you can be done with this shit. Okay, Mr. Guy that is trying to somehow make 78 angry at me for saying cat's paw. What I meant by cat's paw was I would never have spoken to Bill Haney at all, period. If 78 Sports TV had not asked me if it was okay if certain people contact me. So when certain people contacted me, I said, okay, I will talk. And I saw what was going on, and Bill Haney was about to either Gary Russell Jr.'s career was going to get ruined, or Bill Haney's reputation was going to take the biggest nosedive of any promoter in modern day history. It was flaming either way. So I was like, okay, let me sit up here in the middle because I know 78 wanted me to talk to these dudes, but look, this is going to be a problem. So let me be involved for a second because 78 asked me to talk to him. Like I said, I would have been none the wiser and not even cared because I don't even like this type of shit, really. So that's what I meant by cat's paw. What I meant with Floyd, since you guys want to keep drumming it up, what I meant by cat's paw with Bill Haney is that Bill Haney had, I believe, that the guy that was speaking to Bill Haney every time he tucked his head off to the side and he said was screaming at him was more than likely Floyd Mayweather Jr. So I said Bill Haney is being a cat's paw for Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I also said that the different websites that continually drum this shit up are also cat's paw for Mayweather Promotions or the PBC. I don't know which one. I don't care. But I know it's all horse shit. It is designed campaign to make somebody look good and somebody look bad. And I called it for what I saw. A cat's paw. I do not work for 78 Sports TV, and I do not say I speak to 78 Sports TV right here. And I'm very open. And always ahead of communicating things that I would say that might affect a brand that he owns. Because I believe, technically speaking, that I have been issued a license to use his trademark to help me with my channel. So in exchange for the hashtag LDBC, which is the intellectual property of 78 Sports TV, I make sure that if people think that I'm talking and they might confuse me for the LDBC, that I separate the times in which I'm speaking for the two. With Bill Haney, I was doing the LDBC, which is why I was so insistent that everybody tell me who they are. There's no disrespect to anybody, but dude, if you're not the LDBC, don't say you are. I need to know if you are. Because then that was my thing. I need to know if you are. Because I need to know if you are either intentionally or unintentionally a cat's paw. And I know that that is very, very possible because I've known Floyd Mayweather Jr. for a very long time, even though he does not know that I have known him for a very long time. We had the same employee for years. The only difference was I actually paid the guy and he didn't. He paid him in favors and letting him build his business and all of that. So I know him because I know what kind of person he is because he employed the same person that I employed. I was giving the guy the money in order to make the plane trips to him because he was my employee for real. Worked for me, worked for us for years. DJ out of Chicago, worked for years. So I already knew how he did business from the time when he was in Mayweather, whatever that fucking record company was. I've been knowing how that nigga was getting down from the time he was signing people in Chicago to record deals. I'm fucking from Chi. You can't be signing with niggas in Chi, and I don't come on. That shit gets around easy. The rappers to that label that he's been digging in business for a long time. A long time. And a long track record. Long track record. So no, I'm not making I know that. So I don't believe it. I don't. He's very strategic. Very strategic. Not particularly, at a level. And he likes people that are intelligent, but they're pets to him. Because the reason that the guy was cool with the guy is because he had an upscale job. He had an upscale job that I gave him, or we gave him, and we gave him. I won't say me because I wasn't the boss. I was just over the customer. He just did all his work for me. He just did all his work for me and went to Vegas and kept going to Vegas. Right? And I paid for that. Oh, I paid for that. Or excuse me, my people paid for that. So, and we were supporting him in his career. People didn't mind if he took days off. People didn't mind. They were like this. We hired the guy because he was from the west side of Chicago. Like we did, because we had hundreds of employees. And anytime that we could hire somebody, we hired a black person. Especially somebody that was up and coming and really trying to go. That's how Barack Obama worked for my dad. He was the first guy to ever hire Barack Obama when he came to Chicago. First guy to hire him. And he did the same job that I did for several years after he left. Y'all don't know, dude, I'm Chi. That's people asking, what's your profession? I'm Chi-Town. We Chi-Town. That's what it is. That's what it is. So no, dude, I know the work. I know how people get down. In fact, I did business one time, and I'm not mentioning any names, but I went to a fight. I got press credentials for a fight. I got press credentials because I paid somebody about $200 for a fake press credential that they told me was real. And then when I got there, I got in with it because it looked close to it. But whenever I got close enough to the real press, I could tell that it was fake. So all I really did was just be allowed. I paid $200 to be able to walk up and down and out at Iowa. And I got sold that. I got sold that. So I know how people do business. I know how people do business. Nah, man. You're not going to get that. That shit ain't popping off, dog. That's way too narcissistic, man, in my opinion. Way too narcissistic, in my opinion. So in my opinion, I don't see those things happening. I don't see Deontay Wilder. Like, I don't see Deontay Wilder being able to get no fight with, like, anybody. I mean, I'm saying, just, do we blame your father for Obama? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Ivy League Negroes, you should always watch them. I'll say this about that. Be careful with people that go to Ivy Leagues. I just said that Barack used to work for my dad, and it's just when he was a young lawyer and came to Chicago in the real early 1990s, before he got involved in all of that other stuff. But anyway, no, what you have to blame for Barack Obama is Ivy League Negroes. I am just naturally, people that go to Harvard, people that go to Princeton and Yale, I'm always, as a black person, I always think, like, I watch them closely because you don't really know where they're coming from. I knew the dude could be president because he was a president of Harvard Law Review. That's why I got into Chicago so easy, because he's the president of Harvard Law Review and was married to a brilliant black girl from the South Side that was over there. But that's, I used to play basketball with him. I played basketball with him. All, the guys that are up there, that you see around him, that's Chicago. So, people do business. Some people in Vegas, this just happens, especially with black people. So no, man, I'm not hopeful, man. I'm not hopeful on that. And I'm hoping that I don't but we'll see if I'm accurate about it. The proof is in the pudding. Like this thing with I don't even really want to talk about it, but like when Floyd said that he took that fight, remember when just the other day when Floyd came out and said, he said, you can't trust them Ivy League Negroes loyalties ever. Never. I do not fuck with them dudes. If you can avoid it, avoid it. Dog, because do you know what an Ivy League Negro is? So the difference between you and an Ivy League Negro, they say yes much more easily. They do what you ask them to do much more quickly, much more effectively, and much more consistently. That's what you get. You get a very well-trained, subservient person with a great brand, a brand that you can sell. If you hire him from that school, he might not be worth shit, but because he's at that school, you can say you had somebody who was from that school. And it's all right brain. What is it? Right brain, left brain, because what you have is you have people that can get into, like, think about this. What do you have to do to get into an Ivy League school? You can never get in trouble, right? So you're not running around smoking weed, getting in any play, partying and all that. You're not doing that. You're not getting in any trouble, number one, which helped Barack because he was in Hawaii. And what kind of trouble could he get in for years? You know what I mean? So you can't get in any trouble, right? No drugs, no criminal, no violence, no nothing, right? Yeah, I wouldn't say I used to hoop with him. I hooped with him like twice because my brother hooped with him. And my brother used to hoop. They're like this place called Presidential Towers. These basketball. No, Hoops Gym. No, it's where Jordan used to work out in Hoops Gym on the west side. It was like, I don't know if Hoops Gym is still there or not, but that used to be at Hoops Gym. We had hoops to go to Hoop Gyms whenever I was in Chicago because I spent a lot of time outside of Chicago. But he could ball left hand, lefty. A lot of the guys that he played ball with wound up in his administration and wound up like running. This guy, Arnie Duncan, who used to run the city of Chicago's school system. That dude, they're Princeton. They got like they played basketball. The guys he would play basketball with were a lot of guys that were from Princeton. So because there's this guy named John Rogers who is who owns an investment firm called Ariel Capital, whose mother used to be a treasurer of the United States in the Nixon administration, something like that. This is on Randolph. Thank you. My streets is fucked up. Man, it's on Randolph. Thank you. But anyway, yeah, man. So I mean, that's Chicago, you know. So he was hanging with all the Ivy League cats. You know what I mean? Like I was there because of my family, because we had a big business. So I could go wherever I wanted to go because we had a big business, and everybody knows. I would get invited to different things. But yeah, man, dudes are wild, man. I'm saying dudes be wild. Math counts, regional suck. But look, isn't Reggie married to his member or something? A member of his family or something? Who isn't Reggie? I'm not sure what you mean. But anyway, I'm just saying, I ain't getting into like who knows who and all that in relations or whatever. I'm just saying no. But no, dude, there's no motherfucking way that it just doesn't make sense for Floyd Mayweather to make that fight. Floyd Mayweather Jr. would lose more money making the Terence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. just off reputation and them getting the focus of boxing. He couldn't run around and think that his exhibition fights are more valuable than everybody else's. Reggie loved. Oh, he said he hooped with him. Yeah, I mean, dude, if you win at Hoops Gym during the 90s, dude, which is where Jordan was, and Jordan and the Bulls worked out at Hoop Gym, and nobody is fucking ridiculously expensive and all that stupid shit. You'll be in the same gym with them. It's just a regular place to go that was way overpriced in the 90s. Is it dope to come to a channel that you can give different types of content than boxing? Salute Fannon. Hey, man, I have to explain this to say why, just give you full perspective. Fannon, don't you miss the cold winters, brother? Come back to the Midwest. Nah, I miss the people, though, man. Like, I miss Chicago, like, a lot. I miss Chicago a lot. Because there's so many people, man, that I just don't ever get to see. You know what I mean? Like, and every time I go there, it's so easy for me to navigate in Chicago, unlike everywhere else where it's so difficult. Which is, again, why I know that, nah, dude, these dudes, I know how these dudes business. Because Vegas is one of the places that, it's a city and you're looking to figure out how you can get in the city and do business. I was in Vegas too. Never, that shit was just something that didn't work out. It's like quick in and out, but still, you get a sense of it. Fannon, how good was he at B-ball in your opinion? Not the best, not nearly the best dude on the court. Not nearly wasn't, nothing special. Really? Just a dude balling to me. I wouldn't have known, he's just a dude balling. Yeah, not for me. It's just to say for me in Chicago, because, dude, I live downtown. I'm from, like, where I live in Chicago would be the central part of Chicago. I'm not anywhere near the crime scene. The only thing that would be funny with me in Chicago is because I'm the type of person that I am. And, like I said, in Chicago, you can drown in 4 inches of water, dog. So, you know what I mean? In the 4 inches of water in the middle of a drought, you can drown. So, you never know. It's just a lot of funny people stuff that goes on, man. Floyd said that he steals ideas. He have people around him that's smarter than him, and he's not paying property. No, that's what I'm saying. He surrounds himself with people that are smarter than him. But here's the problem when you surround yourself with people smarter than you. If you don't let them do what they want to do, your shit's still going to be fucked up. What good does it have to do? I always hear people say that. Like, there's so many things in business that these like repeat phrases that do not actually work in your life. It doesn't do you any good to surround yourself with smart people if you are one just telling them what to do and you don't let them go out and do their job. No, you might want to pick their brains, but here's the problem. You pick their brain, you get something wrong because you don't understand it. You know what I mean? It's just, All this business genius. Everybody's saying who's being business and genius, a genius at business. It's like, what do you mean? What type of business? What do you mean? He's a genius at business. What role is he a genius at? Exactly. Tell me why he's a genius businessman. Please. Please tell me why, so I can definitely catch a body today. When somebody asked me that question, dog, I was kind of thinking about it. But then I was like, because I didn't want to discredit him. I'm so used to not wanting to discredit anything. But if you ask me if I think he's a great businessman, yeah. He's a great product more than he is a great businessman. He's a great product. I can make a shitload of money off of Floyd Mayweather Jr. For real. He's a great product. Like, that's what I think. Like Al Heyman, they're like, Al Heyman is this great businessman. I'm sure he's a very, very good one. But he has a great product. An amazing product. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is like, what is this business genius? He told you to buy some phony ass stock that he said he invested in that he really didn't invest in, and the guy that he sponsored went to jail for fraud. Why would I think that you're a good businessman? If you asked me to invest in something where a guy went to jail for embezzlement, right? Or no, it was a pyramid scheme, right? Like, it was a pyramid scheme. If you asked me to buy something from somebody, and that person then, if I would have bought it, I would have been robbed, you are not a great businessman. You are dealing with crooks. Is a crook a great businessman? Just because he's successful at stealing? Seriously. When you guys say great businessman, seriously. Anybody out there in business for real that thinks I'm a fake, answer this question. Do you think a CEO of a major corporation will necessarily be a good senior manager of human resources? What would you say about a businessman? What would you say about a businessman that was bringing in a tremendous amount of revenue into a company, tremendous amount of revenue, have employees that are miserable, and employees that are miserable because one guy in that company has all the power and there's no checks on him as he goes around mistreating person after person after person after person after person after person? Do you think he is a great businessman? He's a great product. He's a great product. He's something that's great to sell. You are confusing the product with the businessman. Jay-Z is a great product. Kim Kardashian, her little sister with $1 billion, she's a great product. You rappers, you are great products. No matter how you process your payments. No matter how you process your payments. No matter if you get a check to go into an account that says INC and then you pay yourself, or whether or not the person that puts the money into the INC then hands it to you, or whether you get it straight from them or you get it through the bank that they put in the name of another company, which is just another piece of paper, you still work for him. Because that is the practical ramifications of that. And I've had a lot of people over these last couple of years doubt me. about whether or not I know what I'm talking about, go find somebody and ask them. Go ask the CEO. Seriously ask. Seriously ask. If you could, seriously ask the guy that runs God, what's the CEO's name that I can think of? Let's just say the guy in Dallas. What's Mark Cuban? If you asked Mark Cuban if he thought that these athletes were great businessmen, he would tell you no. They are great products, and they are specializing in using other people's money to get things done. If somebody is using other people's money to get things done, you have to question what the role of the other people are, because there's something coming back. They might not even be able to answer that question without doing an audit of their organization. And just a cursory audit of that organization tells me you got a bully in the motherfucking playground. And if there was a real CEO that it would say, hey, Fannon, within looking at our organization, what would you say would probably be our number one problem? I would say, well, you're probably stunting your own growth because you're over fixated on a fighter that is got 2 more years left in him, period. And eventually, but he's bullying a bunch of people. I think that you're limiting your potential because you're not really trying to grow another one of him. I think you have a problem. It's called the ownership curse? It's the ownership curse or something like the owner's problem. See, when somebody starts a business, the owner has a vision of where that business is going to go, what products they're going to sell, where they're going to do business, right? Because he is the person that founded it, right? He has the idea. Now, once you start the business and you begin to grow, like all things, like Mike Tyson said, there's always a plan until you get punched in the face, right? So businesses grow and they're successful off of what this founder thinks, right? But then one day, the paradigm shifts and things change. Like, say the PBC could always rely on $200 million paydays every once in a while from Floyd, right? And his name and his size in the media to continue to attract investors. Well, what happens to the PBC if Floyd Mayweather Jr., Kobe, rest in peace, may it not happen, Kobe Bryant's? Then what happens to the PBC if it's all driven by his personality? Yeah, the founder's dilemma. Thank you. I forgot what that was. The founder's dilemma. Thank you. Ha, the usual Fannon anti-Floyd rant. Dog, let me tell you, fake ass boxing. I don't talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr. 2 hours a month on this channel. So there ain't no case of wow. Anyway, on to the founder's dilemma. It really prevents the organization to continue to grow and change with demand, because the decisions are all based on what the founder thinks is right. And the founder, over time, his methodology may not be as effective. But when you have a bully who is the founder and he wants to control whose career, he wants to sit and play matchmaker, right? Because that's what they're doing. Who's the matchmaker for PBC? Who's the guy saying, oh, this is a good fight for this guy? Dude, you can't tell me, like, somebody came to my chat and said that this is such great business decisions. It's great. It's great for Floyd. It makes sense for Floyd, but it doesn't make sense for other people. Like, for example, the situation where Deontay Wilder and Charles Martin. I've listened to for years people say, oh, the reason that Charles Martin got the fight with Anthony Joshua is because because Anthony Joshua was going to be this big name and he had more money to pay. But then I'm thinking to myself, after realizing who's involved in the negotiation, because I'm just thinking, oh, it's just Deontay Wilder and Charles Martin talking to each other, and Charles Martin chooses to take the Anthony Joshua fight. Now I know that that is not the case, that their internal operations don't work that way, at least apparently don't work that way, that Floyd is doing the matchmaking. It makes perfect sense for Floyd, but it's terrible sense for the PBC. Stupid for the PBC. And I'll explain why. Because if you accept as true your argument that there was more money in the Charles Martin fight with Anthony Joshua than there was with the Charles Martin fight with Deontay Wilder, which I say could be true, depending on who's wanting to pay for it. But regardless, that could be true. But what's the problem here? Go to the next fight. Say, what happens if Charles Martin loses to Anthony Joshua? Which was highly likely. The PBC, who had 2 belts, now only has 1 belt, which is what happened. AJ wound up getting that belt, fighting a bunch of fights over there in the UK, and then getting hands on all 3 belts. And to this day, we've never gotten that fight. But what if, and somebody said Floyd is not a matchmaker. If you don't think Floyd's a fucking matchmaker, you're nuts. That is probably one of the best fucking matchmakers on the planet. You kidding me? Floyd is one of the, dude, matchmaking, dude, not literally a matchmaker, dummy. The guys that are actually making the fights. You don't think that Bob Arum chooses fights that he wants? He might talk to the matchmaker. I'm talking about the aspect of making the match, not organizing and running around and doing all that shit. Just stick with the fucking conversation, okay? Try to keep up. So, but what would have happened if the PBC had Charles Martin fight Deontay Wilder? Deontay Wilder would have knocked out Charles Martin. You would have still had 2 belts, and you would have still had the Anthony Joshua fight to make. But this time, not a Charles Martin Anthony Joshua fight, a Deontay Wilder unified fight with Anthony Joshua, which is worth way more money. Way more money. That is being penny wise and pound stupid. It is a stupid decision from the PBC's perspective, but it makes perfect sense from Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s, who doesn't fuck with Floyd, who doesn't fuck with Deontay Wilder, and don't want somebody competing with him in the PBC, because now Floyd, do you know how much power Deontay Wilder has in the PBC if he was an undisputed heavyweight champion? That's Floyd owns that company. He owns it. This is facts. And I don't even like to say facts. This is facts. Facts. Not opinion, facts. That was a stupid decision from a businessman's point of view. There's no way I would have advised that. In fact, I would have said, why would you do that? It is one of the dumbest mistakes, no disrespect, that is attributed to Al Heyman that he ever made. And I have such a hard time believing that he doesn't understand that. Proof, Deontay Wilder was the WBC champion, getting millions of views on Showtime. Charles Martin had the WBA belt. Any other promoter with any fucking common sense, any one of them, would have kept 2 belts and used the anticipation of the Anthony Joshua fight to sell Deontay Wilder. That's the smart business decision. That is the smart business decision for the PBC. To give away a belt in a fight that you know you're going to lose over fucking pennies $5 million. The heavyweight championship of the world, undisputed, is worth hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions. But you are going to give away the potential of that with your fighter for $4 million. You are full of shit if you think that that is a good business decision. It is point blank, period, stupid. So stupid. So stupid. IBF belts, I don't care. The IBF, the WA, who the fuck cares the name of the belt? I love you. Thank you, Mr. Shelton, for correcting me. Stop. That was Deontay Wilder could have been undisputed. Oh, excuse me. He would have had the WBC and the IBF. That left the WBO and the WBA. Anthony Joshua could have picked him up easy. Could have picked him up easy. Could have picked him up easy. And the PBC would have had 2 belts instead of Matchroom having 3. And if so, who made that stupid decision? Who made that stupid decision? Well, you'd have to say, Fannon, well, it depends. You're looking at it from the point of view of the PBC and how many belts they hold. You're right. So let me look at it from the point of view of somebody else. Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is the PBC. He's the biggest guy on the block, but he's not a heavyweight. And there's nothing they did in his career that is going to match an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world that is knocking out everybody that you can see. He will be forgotten like Ali, like he wants Ali to be. This dude can't even be in the room with an Ali picture or to mention Ali's name. In Ali is 68 years old. The dude hadn't been in the ring in 100 years, and the nigga's still jealous of him. Still jealous of Ali. You think he gonna let Deontay Wilder slide on that if he has the ability to keep it from happening? Fuck out of here. I'm not into the naivete. Okay? I'm not into it. I now know, in my personal opinion, that stuff that we saw was somebody putting their hands in it. I do not believe until I see the fight made. Saying that, oh, make the fight, eat him alive. Yeah, whatever. Press, bop, 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 bop. Make the fight. Bop, 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 bop. Make the fight. Bop, 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 bop. Make the fight. Actions speak louder than words. And much more clearly. That fight between Deontay Wilder and Charles Martin was the smart business decision. Making Charles Martin against Anthony Joshua was the smart personal decision. It seems to me as if they took their personal shit and put it ahead of what was in the best interest of the PBC. Clearly, whoever made that decision. Because if it wasn't Deontay Wilder and it wasn't Charles Martin, that fight should have been made 3 days after Charles Martin got that belt. 3 days after that belt. Are you kidding me? Bob Arum would have made that fight 3 days later. Would have made that decision 3 days later. Just like this fight is an easy decision. It's easy. It's not even complicated. It's easy. Devin Haney is a very, very good fighter who's the WB. I didn't want to talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it. As I said, I'm not going to talk about it. But I can't move my mind off. I can't unsee things. I can't unsee. And I support the fighters. I support the fighters. And I don't want to attack fighters when it ain't the fighters. So I apologize to Terence Crawford. Except for I will say, dog, you're saying you don't want to, which makes you open season. Call the business out straight out. But I understand why y'all don't want to do it, because you don't want ramifications. Hey, FSG Boxing, I'll actually go with you for a second on this, dude, before I throw you the fuck out, if you're not already thrown out. I knew Floyd hating Ali would get mentioned by Ali Fannon. Yes, you should. You're right. I mention it damn near every time. Yay for the retarded boy. Guess what else Fannon will also say? He'll also hit a gong for a super chat, usually. I'll always say, to this day, it's a lot of shit I say all the time. Like, shit I say all the time. So what? This is the reason Fannon doesn't like Floyd. Really? I don't like Floyd because he disrespected Muhammad Ali? It's funny how Floyd gets Fannon so riled up. So, FSG, you think Floyd Mayweather Jr. went back in time and broke up the Charles Martin Deontay Wilder fight and fast forwarded back to the motherfucking future because I said something? Man, y'all are just wild dudes. But anyway, it was nice. Let's hear that gong. Yes, no problem. Let's hear the gong. Oh, damn, where's my phone? Much love in that super chat. And I love it. I love the decrease in super chats too. That just tells me I'm doing something right. Because, oh, Fannon is just a cat's paw. You know. Much love in that super chat. Oh, but let me tell you what happened to me. Let me also tell you something. Let me bust niggas out, by the way. Since I'm in the mood of busting people out, let me bust people out. I had something really funny happen on my YouTube page. Something I had never seen in 3 years. Never seen. Ever. Happened to my page last month. Crazy. Let me tell you what happened. I had made a certain amount of money for the month, right? Because everybody got a YouTube page, you have a revenue page. And your revenue is based on your views. So depending on how many ads you have and how much revenue you have, that's how much money you make. I'm very into analytics, right? Like analytics rule in business, not in sports. But as far as analyzing what you see with numbers, it's all you really have. So I'm looking at my analytics, and one day I'm sitting there, and the money that I made for the month just went down and down and down. Over like the course of like 3 hours, I was like, what the fuck is happening? This shit is crazy. Like, it dropped, dude, it just went boom, boom, boom. I went and I checked my views. I was like, they didn't take any views away, right? It did these amount of views. Then I looked at the RPM and I looked at the CPM and I was like, it was way off. So I called YouTube and I was like, got the response. And they were like, look, sometimes at the end of the month, we check for views that are just not legitimate clicks. And we get rid of the illegitimate clicks. But because we're not going to pay for you. We're not paying for it, but you get to keep the views. Listen to this. You get to keep the views, but you don't get to keep the money. And for a week, and I looked back and I was like, what videos? Because I had taken a screenshot. And I looked at what days that shit just dropped was around the time I was doing certain videos. But I was being positive about them. Or no, excuse me. I had been making positive statements about them. And then all of a sudden, when this something kicked up, I got a lot of views and I was being positive because I was being positive about it, right? Dude, they took a whole bunch of the stuff, all illegitimate views. I had never experienced that before. So I talked to somebody and I was baffled about it. I was like, how does that happen? They're like, yeah, because sometimes what will happen is you can have somebody hit your channel with a bunch of fake views, right? That may not be you. And then YouTube catches them and they're not like, we're not going to pay advertisers for some motherfucker sitting somewhere with a bunch of fucking phones going off, press in some data bank, trying to run us. You know what I mean? So I was like, damn, but why would somebody do that to my page? Why would I buy views? I'm not going to spend money to get views, right? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? So I'm like, why would anybody go to people's pages? Why would somebody come to my page and get me a bunch of fake fucking views on a video? And I was like, oh, if I had worked with them, that would have been cool, right? Because I don't buy views for myself so that they can't find a pattern and come get me. But if somebody else buys views for me, then all I do is leave the money, but I still have the perception of the views. Which means if I dealt business in there, I would have a completely hollow channel with a bunch of views, because YouTube doesn't get rid of the view. It just doesn't pay the revenue. And somebody pointed them at me. Like they thought I was part of their team or something. Like, who would do that for this? Why would I want that? So anyway, I still had the same usual month I always had then when it came about, but that shit it just like went away. Because YouTube is like, nah, dude, we're not paying you for phony views. We'll keep the views because we can't get rid of the views, and you didn't violate policies and procedures, and it wasn't you that did it that we know of, right? So how many of these dudes that you think got big channels with all these views pouring in, like right when certain fights are about to take off, them shits might not even be real at all. That shit might not be real at all. Because you don't have the ability to look into their analytics and see how much money they're making. I mean, dude, this shit is like shammed up to the fucking hilt. It's shammed up to the fucking hilt. And that's why I'm like, what the fuck is going on with all of this shit flying about Gary Russell Jr.? All at the same time. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. No. These motherfuckers be scamming, dog. That's a scam. You not hating on Bud, so it's not fun for him anymore? Who you talking about? Bud Crawford? Dude, hey, look, mushroom bots. Yeah. No, but not just mushroom. They ain't the only ones with the bots. They're just not the only ones with the bots. They're just not the only ones with the bots. That shit is fucking crazy. I was like, I was going bananas. Like, why am I losing money on this? Like, where did it go? Even though I had never had that happen in 3 years. And it happened for a little bit of time, and then it stopped. Abruptly stopped. Just on the days, like a certain point in the month, it's like they stopped. And shit went back. You know what I mean? Nah, man. How much does it cost to advertise on your channel? I don't advertise on my channel. I don't do advertisements on my channel. Because then if I do that, then I gotta represent your brand. And I don't want to do that. Like, dog, I want to make my money. Seriously, dude, on boxing, I just want to do it through AdSense. I mean, I know that might sound like it's the hardest way to do it, because it is the hardest way to do it. But if I'm going to have like this channel be sufficient for real, I need everything to really be coming here. It needs to be here for real, because otherwise you're not going to survive. Like, if you fall for that type of shit with people promising you views and promising to build your channel and all that, dude, but you're really not making the money from your channel, you're just wasting your talent, being unethical and wasting your talent. And I just don't want to do that, dog. I just don't want to do that. So no, that's why I'll fuck with the LDBC, and whoever's in it is in it. Because I don't even, when I'm like, how successful is my channel? I always look at the video that I did with the least views. Like, I don't really care if I get a 30,000 view video. I don't really care. I care about what the lowest number video that I can do is. Because when I do the lowest, like if I made a video about today, like if I truly wanted to know who fucking rocks with Fannon, I would put a video up about Jaron Ennis and maybe Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, and I'll do something like that. And if I get when I get 3,000 views, like usually I get between 3,000 and 5,000 views on that. That's how I know. That's who I know really rocks with me. 3,000 to 5,000 people on a video, maybe 9, really rock with me. The other ones are people that come into the chat because it's an interesting conversation. They may like, they may like me, but they really just like Errol Spence, or they really like, a particular fighter that they think that. He said, I'm a sports handicapper. I have a winning play for the day. You see what I'm saying? Fannon, read super chats. God dang, sorry, man. Mushroom bots. I think I got the super chats. My man Bam Bam Tweet, what's up, Noop? He said, definitely doing it right, Fannon. Thank you, Fi. Thank you, man. Fi Noob. And that's another thing, dog. You know how many Noops I know? Like, there's like 100,000 Noops in the country. In like every professional position, dog. If you have a bad reputation for negotiation, that shit's going to come out. It's just going to come out. And not everybody's stupid. I'm saying that if you're surrounded, if you can find people, there you go. If you can find people that are smarter than you, you have to understand that there's a lot of people smarter than you. And you just might have people that are good at convincing you that they're smart, but they're really not. Because how would you know what they're doing if they are actually smarter than you? You can get robbed. The people like Oscar De La Hoya. Dog, Floyd Mayweather Jr. ran off one of the greatest heists in modern sports history. And you also got to remember that too. Dude, the PBC was founded on a sneak move. A great sneak move, but it was a sneak move nonetheless, dog. What do you have to do? Seriously, what level of organization do you need to have in order to get 200 fighters up off of Oscar De La Hoya, and he don't even know that they're signed with you and not them? Dude, that is, as much as you might not like, spatula, that shit takes some motherfucking collusion to pull that shit off on Oscar De La Hoya. It does. It takes an amazing amount of collusion to pull that off. Like an amazing amount. Similar, because some people, y'all don't see this sometimes, dog. Like you don't see, people that sometimes don't see things like I see it. Like the Canelo Alvarez thing, where they took that out of court because it was a difference between a corporation and an LLC. Like, if you have ever dealt with an LLC and a corporation, you understand. Like, first of all, most people of that business size have LLCs. And you know why you have an LLC and not a corporation? It's a tax thing. It treats you for tax purposes like an individual. But for let me make sure I get this right. The business is taxed as if you're a person. But you have some of the protections of a corporation, which is why it's called a limited liability corporation, right? L is for limited. Limited liability is what if some shit goes wrong, who do they come after, right? And a corporation is a group of people coming to do business. So it's a limited liability corporation, but you get taxed as if you are, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a tax attorney, but I'm 99% like there. I'm just giving you that caveat. But not just because I don't want to be giving out that type. I don't want to seem like I'm giving advice out. I'm not trying to give any advice out. So, but the limited liability corporation, if say Fannon International Boxing was a limited liability corporation, for tax purposes, I believe that it's taxed as if it's a sole proprietorship, which means that I get to take all of my losses as a person and all my income as a person and include the business's revenue and costs in it, which since I'm married, the tax implications of that is that I save money. When you see the distinctions between limited liability, corporation, and things, that is typically to do with the level of liability protection that there is for the owners, right? And the taxes related to it. So when they tried to slip that shit in there and treat a limited liability like it was a corporation, what they were trying to do, what it seems, well, at least the result of it would have been that they would be protecting certain individuals from liability, right? Because if they wound up being able to, in a case of breach of contract, if they were then able to, in order to collect the damages, were able to go after the pockets of all, not just Golden Boy, right, and not just DAZN, but they would actually be able to get into the pockets of the people who are the members of the LLC, which means that they may be touching the pockets of that billionaire in Russia. Because he might be a member of the limited liability corporation. He probably is. He is a member of the limited liability corporation. So if you sue DAZN, you got to sue that billionaire. That's a huge thing to see. But people like the media, boxing media, goes by it and is like, oh, it's just a typo. It ain't no typo. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no typo. That goes to the heart of whether or not Canelo wants to sue that billionaire over there in the UK or not. Personally, naming him. They might say, nah, I just want to sue the corporation because we faking. We faking. We really just want you to give the money. We really just pump faking. And I haven't heard about that shit being refiled yet. We'll see when it gets refiled. If it gets refiled. Or if it gets negotiated in between. I suspect that shit better get negotiated in between. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Come up off that dough, Dizzy. Come up off that dough, Dizzy Wizzy. Oh, thank you, Bam Bam Tweed, my man. And African Sci-Fi Scholar said mushroom bots. General Squirrels, Fannon misses 75% of his super chats the first time around. They say I beg for super chats, though. General Squirrels, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm not begging for the super chats. Because they say I beg for super chats. However, I damn near miss them every time. My man Brothers Moses said, do tags like hashtag Mayweather, hashtag Errol Spence, hashtag boxing to drive people searching on your, Brother Moses telling you how to do that. Oh, SEO. Mayweather, Errol Spence, boxing. Yeah, I should probably do that. But my views are cool. I mean, I get good views. I do a good amount of that. I've done better with stuff like that because I know now that I really do need to. Nan keep giving his game away. And by the way, how's Pop doing? He's doing well, man. My wife and my daughter are going. They'll leave tomorrow to go to Chicago, so they'll be out in there. They'll be out at their house and be with them for a couple weeks. I'm gonna get out there pretty soon. I just wanted my dad to get I wanted him to get comfortable and be in his routine before I saw him. You know what I mean? Because right now, dude, it's I know my dad, man. I think he wants his baby girls. I think he wants his baby girls with him. Because my dad loves his baby girls. Master Nation said, I was going to ask you to break down the relationship between an LLC and an Inc. on Patreon. Okay, well, you got it for free. What minute mark is this? Somebody tell me what minute mark it is. I'll do it on Patreon too, and I can do it with a little bit better explanation. But essentially, when you're looking at LLCs, you're looking at there's different type of corporations. There's S Corps, C Corps, LLCs, corporations, 501c3s, all kind of different ways that your business can be organized from a tax and liability standpoint. So you're really thinking, when no matter all of this stuff, you're saying, how do my taxes get paid? Right? In a nonprofit, your taxes don't get paid. In an LLC, your taxes are paid, but it's like you're a sole proprietorship, not a corporation. You can take your standard tax deductions and all that shit, right? Can apply to them, right? You have both bunch of kids and you get the standard deductions for that type of stuff. If you have a business and you're taxed as an individual, your deductions will apply to that bit, the revenue that comes in from the business, versus an LLC versus a corporation. And again, do your own research, right? So you can fully understand it. I'm just giving you a shell of it. You want the corporation is when you want your personal life separated from it, because then you've got kind of like when you are a shareholder in a corporation, you can't get sued. If McDonald's gets sued, just because you own stock doesn't mean you get sued. But if you're a limited liability corporation, if that LLC gets sued, your ass could be on the line for that shit, especially if you're like on the board of directors or the member or something like that. So that's a liability thing. So when they treated them like they were a corporation, what they were saying is that you're trying to sue a corporation when you really should be suing a bunch of people. And you're not naming the people that you want to sue. You're telling me about the corporation. At least that's my understanding of it. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not a litigator. I've not been in that area for years and years and years and years and years. So that's my take. That's my take on it. Well, no, the LLC and the Inc., that part I'm very, very familiar with. I do all that shit. I've fucking filed a bunch of LLCs, bunch of all that shit. All of that. But every time you do, you should specialize with a tax attorney. So like for me, if I was deciding whether or not I want an LLC or an Inc., if I was in your position, I would go find a tax attorney. I would go find, a CPA. I would find a CPA because the CPA can tell you how, because they have to file your taxes. So they can tell you the tax ramifications of whatever decision you make when you form your your organization and make sure that that organization really fits what you want to do. It doesn't make sense for you to get to be a straight up corporation if what you're doing is a YouTube channel, where you've got some small amount of costs and revenue, but yet you still also have another job where you get your benefits and all of that stuff from. You might want to be an LLC, or you just want to treat it like a sole proprietorship if you aren't worried at all about, if you're not worried at all about, any type of liability issues. But somebody like a DAZN, somebody like a Golden Boy Promotions, Mayweather Promotions, Heyman, all those different Heyman things. Yeah, they got to be worried about that. And courts are definitely worried about it. So the idea that people are throwing around like, oh, it's just some oversight, man, you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because there's a reason that those guys didn't put that there. They're way better than that. You know what I mean? Like when people make dumb decisions, sometimes you got to ask your question. You got to ask yourself, is this dumb for who? It's dumb for me. But who is it? You know what I mean? Like me, like if I was playing like tennis against you, it would be dumb of me to constantly hit the ball out of bounds because you score every time. So you might want to say, dude, why do you keep hitting the ball out of bounds during like important points? But then you could ask me, I'll be like, because the guy's paying me to do it. So it makes perfect sense once I'm getting paid for this and the person that paid for me told me to throw it. You know what I'm saying? Like fixing a fight. Same thing. Yep. Any more questions? I can go questions today. I haven't done a lot of questions in a while, man. But I respect you. I appreciate you guys. African salute Fannon. Missed the beginning of the show. It's all good, man. Thank you for showing up, man. And thank you for everybody for subscribing. It's really nice to know that even though I might be going in a little bit on, one of the most powerful dudes in boxing and a black dude in an organization, that people don't think I'm just hating on the LDBC, man. Favorite LDBC channel to watch. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Exactly. Search engine ops. This is like, these dudes be funny, man. But Dre's Finest said, I'm still supporting you, even though you never read any. I'm going to fix that. I swear today that I'm going to fix this. I am going to do the right thing and stay on the super chats. I appreciate it. Now, imagine how bad it would be if I asked you to cash app. That's why I never say Cash App, because I'm like, shit, if I got to look at that shit on my phone, I'm going to be missing. I miss Toot Robinson Cash App me. And I can't say what's up, Toot Robinson. By the way, man, much love to Toot Robinson, man. That's my dude. Kennard Smith said, Godspeed to the fam. Keep up the good content. I will try with all my heart to do that, man. You did it a couple times, but stop tweeting. What is that, Dark Black? Oh, said, I'm going to keep encouraging you to tweet when you go live. Don't trust YouTube. Dude, let me tell you something, man. I will do that. I will connect that. Once I do it, I will share it on Twitter. But dog, for real, I don't even want them motherfuckers on Twitter knowing who my channel is. Dog, it's like I get it. Now I got to argue with like Twitter. I went to Twitter trying to have fun, like thinking I could just bash some trolls and shit, like just some easy old BFTB. And then I realized the trolls never, ever stop. So it's like, okay, well, that's kind of like YouTube. So I was like, all right, I'll adopt the policy of blocking people when they just get on my nerve too much. Like after a week, like after 4 days of a conversation, I'm gonna get rid. I don't want to hear it anymore. Because now I know you're just really spamming the shit out of my head. So I'm like, now I'm done with you, right? But then when I started doing that, now with all the shit going, I have smart ass attorneys fucking talking to me. Like smart asses. Like, dog, you're trying to prove to me you're a litigator. I get it. But it's like you're trying to win an argument around a bunch of people that don't know what the truth is. And I'm not going to entertain that shit. The judge said, get the fucking case out of court. Tell me who it is you're suing and give it back. Thank you. I don't care if the court could have issued some type of order that would have mandated that the members reveal their information. Why would they have to do that when it's your job to tell the court who you're suing? That shit makes no sense. Okay, but you want to impress people with your verbs, but you're just working for them, but you pushing a bullshit case and they know it. So you come out with crazy shit and you look stupid. So now I don't even want to go back to Twitter because it's like now I got people thinking they're accounting experts and shit. Like, man, stop. This shit is not like, not going to bamboozle people and confuse them. I will tell you straight up what happened with Canelo Alvarez, and it is no more difficult than this. Canelo Alvarez sued DAZN, sued Canelo and sued Oscar De La Hoya, but didn't want to actually sue Oscar De La Hoya or the owner of DAZN. He just wanted to sue them because he didn't name them as members of their LLCs, whether it is one or the other. So the judge looked at it, and and I think that the companies themselves said, excuse me, this is improperly filed because we are LLCs and not an S, and we are not corporations. So they might have filed a motion to dismiss based on them suing them based on jurisdiction. And that's exactly what it was, based on jurisdiction, because you have to declare diversity of citizenship. So if you have different members, you don't know where they live. You need to establish diversity of citizenship and also a certain threshold of money for the dispute in order for it to be heard in a federal court. So if it wound up that all of the members of the LLC were all in the same place and they were all in the same state, the feds would then turn around and say, we don't have jurisdiction. The state has jurisdiction. But it was a corny shit to try because Canelo Alvarez is fucking bluffing. Okay. And I didn't want to say it, but when he did it, it made it look like he was bluffing. And he wanted, what did he want? What did he ask for? For them to immediately tell him whether he could negotiate with somebody else. He asked for a declaratory judgment. So that tells you Canelo's already negotiating with somebody else. And it was a bluff. It's a bluff. Get it? Because the second that they declare breach of contract and they issue that declaratory judgment, that instant forward, Canelo Alvarez is free to sign with whoever he wants to sign with. Before the question is answered about what the damages for the breach of contract is, or what it was, or whose fault it was that the relationship ended. It was a very slick move, but it was a bluff. Straight up bluff. And if I was DAZN, I wouldn't pay the nigga a penny and make him name everybody. Because he's already trying to leave you, dog. He's got somewhere else to go. He got a girl on the other side of the town, and she treat him real, real nice. if you didn't get the move. That's what Canelo Alvarez is pulling. Does that make sense? That makes sense. I think that makes sense. B&B Boxing said, Fannon, have you ever watched Luke on Hulu about France Fannon? No, I haven't. I've seen a lot of stuff on France Fannon, obviously, because I named the channel after him. Oh, that's fucked up. Fannon missed my super chat when I gave Jermell props. Jermell number 2 pound for pound if he stops Rosario. Yeah, fair. But now my whole pound for pound thing is messed up. I want to see something. Give me 1 second. Nah, okay, cool. Hey man, thank you guys for all the likes. Look, man, I got 500 likes and I didn't even ask for them. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sorry, man, about that, man. Alvarez in the PBC, I don't know. I have no clue. But I know that he wants to go somewhere else because he asked for a declaratory judgment before the case was dismissed. He sued him, then he asked for a declaratory judgment, then the judge dismissed it because of a failure to properly assert jurisdiction, because he treated the defendants as if they were corporations when they're LLCs. And all these dummy motherfuckers that don't know what the fuck they talking about, acting like that shit's just a typo. Think to yourself, dude, when you pay somebody that fucking much money, would you ruin their reputation in a huge ass case like that over some cornball shit like that if it wasn't on purpose? If the court had made the oversight, they would have just kept going with it. And guess what would have happened? If you don't have a lawyer that is really, really good and expensive, you might get that shit pulled over on you. But you can't pull shit over. Ain't shit slick to a can of oil. You know what I'm saying? Ain't shit slick to a can of oil. So anybody out there hating on me still? Hey, brother, somebody said you removed clips from the interview. So what? Am I supposed to give a fuck? People say a lot of shit about me. Welcome to YouTube. I didn't remove any clips. They're all on my channel. Unedited. Up for you to see. That's a lie. That's just a lie. I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who Boxing Nation is. But that's just a lie. Did I make a clip out of my video shit that I own? Yes, I did. Absolutely did take a clip of it. It's my shit. Why wouldn't I? But I invite any of you lying motherfuckers to go to my channel. All the videos are up in their entirety. Unlike you lying motherfuckers, you saying I took a clip, I have the original source material all up for 3 straight fucking hours with me not even talking. You lying, just some lying sackers of shit. That's just some lying shit. Anybody that says that I edited the uncut versions of the negotiations that are still up on my channel, that's just a lie. That's just a lie. But what do you expect? What do you expect? But just understand what it's about. Understand what it's about. Come on, man. What you niggas got my name in your mouth for? That's y'all's. He said it. He said it. I didn't tell him to say it. I didn't even get in. I didn't even keep him from saying it. I left the screen. I was outside of my backyard with some Junior's good CBD. I was in my backyard smoking on some CBD from Junior the Truth, chilling when all that shit was being said, nonstop with no interruptions. Anybody else got that with no questions, no interruptions? I have Gary Russell Jr. And that, I don't even want to do it. But y'all are just liars. You're liars. You're bad liars at that. And your rep is getting muddied. Like I'm telling y'all, if you keep coming, if people come at me, their reps are just going to be shit. Because you're going to look terrible because I'm not lying. My shit's the truth. Literally the truth. Unadulterated, uncut truth for over 6 hours. And you're going to call me a liar? You fucking kidding me? That's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Because it's not even him. Just make believe. Did you see his face when he said it? Just make believe. Like Bob Arum said, have you ever actually seen Al Heyman? It's just make believe. Oh, but Bob, you had to know Al Heyman on the phone. You've called. No, I'm not asking whether I've seen Al Heyman. This is me talking like I'm Bob Arum. I'm asking you if you've ever seen Al Heyman. Have you seen him? Nigga, don't start. Nigga, do not start. The shit will end real ugly. Don't try to discredit me into your own destruction. Because I could say, all right, you think I'm lying? Why don't you just have, hey, your boy's still making appearances on channels, ain't he? Why don't you bring him to BFTB? I'll meet him on BFTB today. If I lied, get your boy to go to BFTB and talk to him. Or tell Bill Haney. It's a great interview for him. He can clear it up on BFTB's channel. No worries. BFTB already interviewed him, so they have a great relationship. I'm sure that will go just swell for the cause. Since you're talking dumb shit. I be trying to stay out of shit. Straight up. Niggas is trying to keep me out of it. Out of it, out of it. I want to be out of it. Out of it, out of it. But if you start name popping me, nah, dog. It'll get ugly. All kind of gossipy shit can come out. You'd be amazed at the gossipy shit that could come out. About flights from justice and stupid shit. Like a nigga don't already know y'all. Keep my name out your mouths. I ain't that dude. For real, for real, for real. I ain't even talking about half the shit that I see. Not a third of it. Not nearly the big shit. And I forewarned you of the big shit, but niggas still ain't catching it. You're going to fight your way into a lot of problems. You keep doing it. I didn't dismantle those bullshit stories. You guys dismantled it yourself by just talking. But for some reason, you just keep talking. It makes no sense. Well, it makes sense because I told you that they would keep doing it. It's not going to stop because they have no control over what they say. Because if they say the wrong thing, no more interviews. No more interviews, no more fresh off the presses around these parts. You have to go get a mic like Fannon in the middle of your room and just talk about what's in your head with no notes and reading the newspaper. And see if you can get 40,000 subscribers doing that. Sitting in your living room without interviewing anybody, showing your face and talking. Showing your face and talking. Not edited, where all your ands, uts, bums, and ums are all cleanly done by your producer. Get up and talk without a team of people around you, not mics to hand to, Hey, guy, what do you think? Hey, guy, what do you think? Hey, guy, what do you think? So you can take more and more and more time up out of the hour without you actually speaking. Go on and go do your videos with no editing. Leave your uts, bums, and if you sneeze, fuck it, leave it in. And see if you can roll like that. I've never met Floyd. Yeah, I have met Floyd personally. I'm trying not to get too close. But look, anyway, besides having met him personally, I don't really give a fuck about him. Straight up. I don't give a fuck about Floyd Mayweather Jr. Not half a fuck. He could love me, he could hate me, wouldn't make me a fucking bit of difference. Not at all. Wouldn't affect my business at all. Other than petty motherfuckers attacking me. And I've already got thousands of them. So what difference is that? I got high blood pressure. I can die at any point in time. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I don't give a fuck about Floyd Mayweather Jr. I don't give a fuck about nothing about the PBC other than the fighters giving me fights that I want to see and seeing that fighters are treated well in a nice workplace, just because I so happen to be concerned about the issue because I have personally been involved with narcissistic ego fucking maniacs that will fuck your life up if you don't do exactly what they say to do. Because if they can't beat you up actually, they will try to pencil whip you to death. And what I see going around in the PBC is pencil whippings from behind a fucking shield. I see pencil whippings from behind the fucking Wizard of Oz shit is what I see. Somebody standing behind a fucking sheet, somebody standing behind a fucking curtain with a big out there saying, go kill yourself, go chase the witch. Go kill yourself, go chase the witch. You go kill the witch. And then I'll send you home. All right, let me go kill the witch. Could have died 100 times. But for the life of it, didn't fucking matter. Didn't matter. When you got back, he had to fucking con you. He wasn't even the dude he said he was. He's a little fucking lost ass wizard standing behind a fucking cloth, fooling a whole city full of people. But when the naked truth was exposed, he had to become honest and truly tell people that their own desires were nothing but mirages. The desire of the lion was a mirage. He thought he wanted something he already had. The fucking wizard could have told him that right away. You have courage. You're a lion. You're just a chicken shit. Let it go. Be brave. But what did the little motherfucker do? That wizard let everybody run around damn near killing him. But it was a win-win for him. It was good business. It was good business for the Wizard of Oz. Because if Dorothy went out there and died, he was done with them. And it wouldn't have mattered. He wouldn't ever get exposed. But if she lived, the wicked witch would be dead. So it was a win-win for the lying motherfucker pulling levers from behind. Until a little dog reversed God, D-O-G-G-O-D, a little dog pulled his fucking coat, snatched that shit out, and let him know that was bullshit. This motherfucker tried to get you killed. It was through your ability that you got where you were. But if that dog had not pulled that curtain in the Wizard of Oz, he would have sent that motherfucker, Dorothy and them, on another fucking goose chase. Because the narcissistic wizard, lying, cat's pawing, shiftless motherfucking coward wouldn't tell him the truth. But then there's a rebuilding moment for the wizard. When he is completely exposed, yet he finds that the whole town of Lilliputians, they really did love him. But the Lilliputians were on it the whole time, by the way, just so you know. The Lilliputians put that phony mother up there to protect him from the fucking wizard. From the real witch. Put him up there, that shit, to protect him from the real witch. See, study your movies. It tells you a lot about people. Phonies that hide behind other people. Fannon, you on fire. Great analogy. I appreciate that, man. That's what it is. Look behind the mirror, dog. It's bullshit. And I didn't even want to be in it. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be in it. Motherfuckers want to talk crazy, though. Look at my views and how many videos that I have, and look at other people's views and how many videos, how many subscribers they have, and wonder why. If I have a live stream and I have 700 people in it and I've got 40,000 subscribers, why do people with 5 times the motherfucking subscribers, like Fight Hub or something like that, why do they only have 100 people in their fucking live streams if they really have 350,000 subs? Live streams tell you something. Video views do tell you something. And when the amount of subscribers are way off from the number of viewers, dog, if you got 500,000, Tasha K proves this. You know that gossip chick, gossipy chick, Tasha K? Every time Tasha K, who's got like 700,000 subscribers, every time she has a live stream or a video, that shit got 5,000 people in the live stream, and it's got 70, 80, 100,000 views on the video. With Jimmy Dore, who's a political guy, he has like 700,000 subscribers. Every time he does a live stream, he has 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people in his live streams, and his videos do 40,000 views at minimum. Every time, I mean, between 200,000 and at the low 50,000 every time on 750,000 subscribers. How in the fuck do you have 400, 500,000 subscribers and 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 views on a video? How? Those are the analytics that I'm still confused about after being on YouTube for 3 years and meticulously watching analytics. Y'all leave me alone. I beg y'all to leave me alone all the fucking time. If you think I am anywhere near the type of asshole that I could be, why am I mad? Let me ask that question while I throw you out. Because I was called a liar. Because I was called a liar. When there's over 30,000 people, there's about 30,000 people that saw every word of it. But yet, something that 30,000 people saw, I took clips of. Of course I took clips of. Of course I did. I own the clips. Why wouldn't I? Did I mislead anybody? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to accuse me of lying? That's what it is. They're calling me a liar. Now, if I made an error in something, saying something, a fact that I might have mistook, some context in the conversation that I didn't quite understand, right? Or some chronology that would be off, that would be a mistake. That would not be a lie. So the proper way to correct me, and I'll tell you what it is, so you know. Devin Haney, Bill, I'm not even going to do it. I can't because I said I wouldn't talk about it. So I'm not. But I did make a mistake. And in the video where I made the mistake, because it was a live stream, I said I made a mistake. I did not understand what that meant. Batman corrected me, Bill Haney corrected me, and they both went forward because I misunderstood. But they were both on the chat for me. I don't even want to talk about this shit. But don't call me a liar. Well, you can call me a liar. It doesn't matter to me. But ain't nobody real to the LDBC. No real members of the LDBC that matter to me are going to believe it. because I'm not confused. I'm not trying to make believe. I'm not trying to make believe some shit. I'm not trying to make you think that I'm big. I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to make you think I'm smaller than I actually am. Just by being myself and not cheating. Because so many people cheat. Consistently cheat. But I have 41,000 subscribers that I got my motherfucking self. I've got 25 million views that I earned my motherfucking self. With no access to anybody, with no access to anything. No press passes. The fights that I went to, I sat down on the floor because I paid for them. Because I pay for my tickets. I go to a fight, I pay to go to the fight. I pay for my hotel room. I pay for my drinks. I pay for my food. I don't want no chicks, but if I got one, I would be paying for them myself too. If I go to a strip club, I'm tipping the chicks my motherfucking self. And I'm not impressed by big houses at all. I personally think that they are obnoxious. So there's a lot of things about me that protect me from giving a fuck about what y'all think. A fuck what you think about me. But you got to understand, you cannot beat BFTB. Not a chance. Not a chance. I'm not going to talk. I'm not talking about myself. Because you know why I don't debate the BFTB? Because there's no point. No point. He is so well researched and so honest in his intentions that you have to just listen to him and then see if there's something maybe he missed on the facts that he has definitely already laid out. So, there's never a need to debate BFTB. Because if anybody tries to debate BFTB about these subjects, they will walk away with missing a leg. So I said that, and I know you guys are stupid. So go challenge BFTB for real and show up to his channel and talk that shit. Y'all will get mushed, just like your boy did. No more motherfucking trolls going over there, dog. If you got a channel that you really want to keep and a name that you want respected, stay away from BFTB. I say that out of true respect and love. Stay away. Love Bill Haney. Do not go on that man's channel. You will not survive that. People are going to try to bait Bill Haney to get on that channel so he can have the same conversation that he had with these guys that are giving him softball interviews and have everything that he says he thinks I lied about and go talk to BFTB and show where I lied and sit down with BFTB for an hour and a half and tell me where I'm wrong. Because on my channel I lied, but BFTB is the truth. So Bill Haney or anybody else that want to say that I'm lying, that I'm making things up, go to BFTB's channel and bring it up with him. Y'all will not show up. Not a fucking chance. On this planet. Y'all want to send Haki over there to get his channel ruined. And when that young man was probably smart enough not to bite, somebody got some coon shine. Some coons, who the fuck would name themselves Coon and Shine in the same name and blame George Floyd for George Floyd's own death? You send that clown over to BFTB. That's the solution. Anybody think I'm lying, go to BFTB's channel and prove it. And prove it. And you don't have to worry, because BFTB is not my cat's paw. I disagree about a couple things with BFTB. But it don't matter. He's his own man. I could not pull him off myself. Why is BFTB so powerful? Because he is. Go to BFTB and find out. You will find out. You will find out. You will find out. Go to BFTB. He wants it. He invites it. So go take advantage of it. And most importantly, go to Ticket TV, who's probably got a basketball live stream on. Check my man BFTB out later today. Rock with the LDBC. I'm way over on my live stream. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. I promise I will do more with making sure that I read your super chats. Thank you guys so much. You guys are just such a blessing to me. And I thank you guys for riding with me. I do. Because it's only because you guys are for real, like for real people, that I would even waste my time talking about this stuff. Because it's not. KQKC's on right now. Check out my man KQKC Boxing, who's on right now. Y'all should already be at KQKC. Everybody know KQKC 130. You gotta kick it to KQKC. That's where you're supposed to be. Anyway, it is what it is. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. And with that, I'm out. Peace. Thank you, Mr. Finesse. Appreciate you.